Great time.
So it's interesting. That leads me to one of the next questions I wanted to ask. So you were on a label at one point.
Hmm.
What you man sharing what
Oh yeah,
label?
Motown.
You was with
Motown.
Motown. What happened with that? And what I mean, obviously you're an independent artist
Yeah.
now, and you're doing incredible things
Yes.
as an independent artist. There's so many benefits of being independent,
Yeah.
but all of our dreams growing up is to get on a label.
Yeah.
And Motown being one of the legendary,
Hmm.
definitely like, great labels for R&B. We know the industry has changed significantly over the last X amount of years,
Hmm.
but tell me about the process of getting that deal,
Yeah.
and then, um, I guess obviously there was some heartbreak and some disappointment
Yeah.
in that process. So
Yeah.
tell me about how you got to there.
I got the deal by not looking for it, to be honest. I was writing first down in Atlanta, and so I actually was writing, I guess, at a Rihanna camp or something like that. And shout out to DJ Toomp. I
Nice.
was playing piano because he was late, and so he like heard me playing and singing while I was killing time, and
Hmm.
he was like, "Yo, like." You an artist? I was like, yeah, I do what I
Do what I
do what I
do.
do.
Yeah.
And so we end up writing this, whatever song, but it was good enough for an A&R to come in and say, yo, like I'm gonna call LA in. And so LA Reid came in and DJ Tum stopped him at the door and was like, look, before you even go and hear this song, you gotta hear this kid.
Mm.
And LA Reid sat beside me on the piano and, he liked it enough where it started buzzing around the writing camp.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, like this may turn into something. It didn't. It
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, what ended up happening was my phone stopped ringing, oddly enough. Like I'm thinking like I got this buzz on me, like from the camp, like
Hmm.
I'm hitting up the producers, like, yo, let's work. Not even on my stuff, but just
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
And like nobody would pick up. And I was like, this is weird. Like usually I could find work.
Yeah.
And so it was really God kind of isolating me to
Mm.
say, what do you want to hear musically? I haven't, he hadn't heard music come out of me in a while. And so that's what
Mm.
he demanded of me.
Mm.
And so he sat me down.
Yeah.
And so I
He has
started
a way of doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I started creating songs. And those songs just so happened to be technically the demo
Mm.
for Motown.
Nice.
And so the people that really kind of brought me into that situation, shout out to Troy Taylor
Shout
and
out.
Ezekiel Lewis.
Yeah.
They, really kind of gathered the stuff and, sent it over to Ethiopia, who, was becoming the new president of
Okay.
Motown. And very quickly from there, they was like, sign him. And then we went into a development phase,
Gotcha.
and so in their defense, we were all new.
Gotcha.
I'm a new artist. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
E was new to her position as well.
Hmm.
And so no one wanted to fail.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted, success.
Hmm.
And so sometimes you could be so fearful and so, guarded of what you have that you can kind of, let things fall through the cracks.
Hmm.
And so I sat for a couple years, and then all of a sudden, I got on this Maxwell tour, and
Come
I
on.
opened up for him, and that was a very random experience. However, it was the best experience I've ever had
could
because, I was, maybe doing showcases every couple months,
Sure.
but other than that, I wasn't really performing.
Yeah.
And I go on tour with Maxwell,
Come on.
and it's 5 nights a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, there ain't no time for groupies. There ain't no time
Yeah.
for, you know what I mean, all of the vices that I wanted to indulge in.
Yeah.
However, what was most important was every city that I went into to make sure that they had the same level of show as the last, because I wanted to make a lasting impression on them.
Yeah.
Literally right after that, a couple months later, the Neo tour happened. I think it was called like the Nonfiction tour.
Come on.
And so opened up for him. And then literally, man, like a couple months later, I had a Glade commercial come out.
Nice.
And so what's crazy about that whole year, which was 2014, during that time was earlier that year, I was sat down by people that were close to me. They was like, you sure you want to do this? And they were just talking about artistry. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're just like, it's been, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was having conversations with family too. Like,
Yeah.
you think this is for you?
Yeah.
Like, you've been grinding for a while, and
Yeah.
of course, in retrospect, that time was nothing,
Sure,
right?
sure. 2 years.
But when you counting up the days,
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like a long time.
Absolutely.
And so something in me was like, well, if nothing's happened, then why would I quit? You know what I mean? Like, God didn't give me a sign to say I failed. So I mean, at the end of the day, I gotta keep pushing it slowly but surely. You know what I mean? I didn't need a door to open. I just needed to see a crack. I needed just to see a glimmer of light or feel some kind of wind come from a different room. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
In my, I guess, tenacity. You know what I mean? That's one of my gifts, more so than musicality, is my tenaciousness.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, I took opportunities, and so that was a big year for me. And from there, after 2014 and all of that hoopla, I sat again for another year and a half. And so that experience humbled me in a sense of understanding peaks and valleys.
Was all of that, you were on the label during all this time still? So was it like, I mean, just looking at the pros and cons, having the opportunity to open up for Maxwell, who at this point, 2014, is a super legend at this point.
For sure.
I guess he was still touring the Black Summer Nights album.
Yeah, he was in between one of the albums for sure.
Got you. And then, so you have that. Then you have Neo after that. Did the label open those doors for you, or how those opportunities come?
I know that the Neo tour was definitely label driven for sure. Maxwell, I think, was more so on the management side.
Nice.
That was their play, and so yeah, I mean, one way or another, I was super grateful for all of it. However, like I said, you know, after that year and understanding how quick your momentum could be taken away if you don't have vision, that's one thing that I didn't necessarily have. I had talent. I had a creative sensibility.
You had ambition.
However, but I just didn't have vision. I couldn't see past next week. You know what I mean? And so I allowed for the people around me to have the vision for me. And that's a dangerous place to be when, you know, be careful what you say, artist. When you say, all I want to do is sing, that is a very dangerous message that you're sending to God and to the universe. You will get what you ask for.
That's right.
You may not like the result.
Come on.
Because, you know, look, any artist without vision, you know what I mean, that's a very treacherous place.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had to learn that lesson. And God had to teach me within that time to say, yo, like, I didn't give you this responsibility and this gift in order for you to allow for other people to see it through. This is on you. This is your responsibility. And until you get that, until you understand that, I'm going to keep sitting you down.
Man.
I'm going to show you all that you can be and the potential of what you're able to do. But until you understand the lesson that I am trying to give to you, I will sit you down.
Wow.
And you're going to work and you're going to understand what you are here for. And the vision that I'm trying to give you is not meant for everybody else. It's for you to execute. And, you know, from there, maybe a year and a half later, we released Long Song Away. It goes #1 on R&B radio.
Love that record.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And from there, I'm like, all right, cool. I got a plan.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I got 3 albums with Motown, so I'm going to do the 3 albums, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm in a creative zone. Like, I'm going to knock them out, boom, 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 boom. And then God's like, hold up. Just wait 1 second. I was like, all right, well, we moving now. We nominated. What's going on?
Yeah.
He was like, hold up, just 1 second. And so I'm like, all right, let me be still. I'm still creating. Then all of a sudden I get a call from the person that brought me into the label. He left the label and he didn't let me know until he was over, you know, somewhere else. And so God was like, red flag, right? And I was like, yeah, that was weird. He's like, I think it's time for you to go. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. My plan. He's like, no. My plan.
Yeah.
My plan. I'm telling you to go. I'm like, no. I'm not ready.
And you're feeling this just like very strongly.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's pulling at me. Like, leave, right? And so I'm scared because I'm like, I don't have any sense of entrepreneurship, no type of business acumen, nothing. All I know is music.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know the first thing about being an independent artist. I don't know the first thing about like developing a production company, a label, anything.
Wow.
Like, God, and you want me to leave this? Like, yo, we NAACP nominated, iHeart Music Awards nominated, all of this cool stuff, and you want me to leave? You want me to ask for my release? Yes.
Wow.
So I'm like, I had a conversation with my management. I'm like, yeah, I want to be released from the label. They're like, what? Like, yeah. And so, you know, they're thinking, oh, you know, he just in his feelings right now.
Yeah.
Let it die down. Nah, like, and as the months went by, it just kept growing because nobody would respond. And so had a talk with, you know, with with Ethiopia. She was so gracious. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we had to talk, and I stuck to my guns. However, because business is business,
sure,
they kept me in the deal for about a year and a half, and then they let me go. They had to kind of ice me and, you know, cool me down.
Right.
But they didn't have to do it. And so for that, I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful that they let me go. In that year and a half, I was able to develop a business acumen, find a business mentor, you know, create an LLC for Art Society Music Group, solidify a distribution, a situation with Empire over in San Francisco with Ghazi.
Okay,
excellent. And you know, that year and a half was very, very important in the sense of really understanding what was to come.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely not prepared of, like, once I release a project or once I release a, you know, a song, I'm like, ooh, it's September 2019.
Yeah.
You know, we finna kill them. 2020 happened, pandemic.
Oh. Oh man, I got horror stories about the pandemic myself. Yeah,
you know, so, you know,
we all do.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, and I know I transitioned straight from being signed to being indie, but that's how it felt to me. It was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So yes, that is the story of me being signed. You know, of course, coming up to being an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur and independent.
Yeah.
So tell me some of the benefits that you're experiencing as an independent artist.
I mean, full autonomy over my releases, for sure.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Really understanding, like, what's under the hood as far as analytics, how much I'm making monthly, what songs are really, you know, garnering more momentum, what's paying me the most. So much in the sense of, like, the benefits of it.
Essentially, everything is coming across your desk versus you waiting for a report to come.
Yeah, I mean, and it's full transparency in the sense of, you know, I have weekly meetings with my team.
Yeah, and
so I always ask them, you know, if someone says no, I don't mind the no, but I want to know why.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Is it not the right time? Is my profile not big enough? Because I want to make sure that we have, you know, certain points that we're hitting and certain marks that we're hitting throughout the year to make sure to say, hey, this is one of the goals that I would like to accomplish this year. Can we do it? What's stopping us? And let's eliminate as many excuses as we possibly can.
The fantastic thing about this time and being an independent artist, you have obviously so much access, so many opportunities, and as long as you have a good team around you, you can accomplish almost everything that you can do with the major funds from a label, right? Because it's all about networking resources in that respect. I think about guys like Brent Fayez, the success he's having, Eric Bellinger, yourself, Samo, so many other fantastic.
Kenyon Dixon is another one.
Come on, Kenyon Dixon is amazing. I'm a big fan of him. His album came out a couple of weeks back. I've been listening to that real heavy as well, heavy rotation. So guys like yourselves, I've been an independent artist forever. When years back, it was getting to your fans and building your own community. That's always been just the work that is. You know, it's not I don't want to say it's a complex thing, but it's just one of those things that you do. But in this era, you have to do those same things, but you have so much more reach. You know, so you can just say, okay, you're gonna use whoever your distro is, and you have Empire. You have if you're super indie, you don't even have a distro deal. You may go through DistroKid, you may go through TuneCore, or whomever, but your music is available just like everyone else's.
Absolutely.
And if your music's making enough noise and you're doing the right things, that your team's doing the right things, you can really make some real noise. So that's really dope and commendable that you've been able to do the things that you've done as an indie artist.
Yes, sir. Thank you.